Hey guys, welcome to 2021. I hope everybody is doing good and feeling good and excited about the new year. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I'm actually like a month late because I've been so busy with my side other businesses that it's been just very crazy, very busy, and I hope the same for you guys. I am going to be starting with a brand new deck, and I love it. It is absolutely amazing. It's the Light Seers deck, tarot deck, and it's just fantastic. I really like the imagery on it. I like the messages that it brings, so we're going to be using that today and probably throughout this whole deal. So I am going to focus, I promised in December's videos that I would be looking at love as well as the main focus of the month, and I wanted to focus on the astrological energies, and I devised the questions based on all of the different astrological changes that we'll see. And this reading is actually going to be covering January and February because I am late and I don't want you guys to wait a full month to get January, and I like to disperse kind of one by one. So you're not waiting. I'm going to do a combination of January energy and February energy. But before we get started, I did want to just give a quick message on how those energies are going to look for you, and then I will kind of specify a little bit further for your particular zodiac as well. But for everybody in general, the first 2 weeks or so of January is going to be really focused around that new moon solar eclipse energy, and it's kind of coming from mid-December in the sign of Sagittarius and kind of into January. That energy started out with these promised, opportunities of exploration and discovery and kind of this awakening and giving us that courage to expand our horizons and gain some insight from experiences and not feel quite so anxious about the end of the year, but more excited for the beginning of the new year. So you're a little bit more inclined to nurture yourself, your faith, your hope, your vision, and it's really, as we get into January, I would recommend not to jump too much into new adventures. I certainly would be a bit more aware of your impulses this coming month. As you follow through, just be easy at this time. Impulses can definitely work the better of us if we're not in tune with our needs, and it can lead to mistakes if we are not focused on that properly. So just watch for making decisions while in the freedom of all costs kind of mindset. Okay, now at the end of January, Mercury is going retrograde. Don't freak out. It's going into the sign of Aquarius on the 30th. And the main questions I'm focusing in the end of January and beginning of February does focus on Mercury retrograde, how you can prep for it, what you can do to kind of stay in touch with staying a step ahead of the game here, so to speak, so that you don't have a whole lot of you more benefit from the retrograde than you do that decline that a lot of people can sometimes feel. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius will kind of tap into our more humanitarian side of things, so more prone to inner muse when it comes to innovative ideas, or slowdowns and delays might be likely when it comes to productivity, as opposed to being more in touch and in tune with your relationships, if you will. Okay, as we get into February, we are going to have an accumulation of planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and the Sun are going to come into Aquarius, and this alignment will be boosted with the entry of Venus in the sign of Aquarius as well. So it'll tell us more about the desire for emotional independence, and on the other hand, with the square between Saturn and Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus, it will also have it'll allude to eternal resistance to changes. So also be aware of that when you are maybe facing some shifts that you might feel a little bit outside of your box. You definitely don't want to necessarily just allude from it. You want to look at it, especially if it's during that retrograde period, on what that lesson can bring for you. Other than that, the best time to ask for a favor is going to be February 12th through the 13th, when the planets are adding a special blessing in a beautiful way. Okay, so we're going to kind of get into this. I've got about 8 or 10 questions for you guys. I will find out the best message for you when it comes to love, and then when we get into the March readings, I will really start looking into that, but I want to focus more on you for the first part of the year. Okay, so let's get into it. I appreciate your patience with all that, but a lot of good information. I think you should be informed. That's super important, so let's get into it. All right, guys. Hey, Geminis. All right, we're going to start with the Gemini. We're going to start with Capricorn energy and the new moon in Capricorn that takes place at the beginning of January. And then we'll move into that last quarter moon in Capricorn and then just overall Capricorn energy for you in the month of January. So first question, where do you need to apply this Capricorn energy? We've got 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. So some of that heartfelt energy, you know, towards relationships, towards family, and possibly even looking into maybe some discomforts or shifts that need to take place maybe in the workplace, or desires or passions that you're not really entertaining 100%. So just a couple things that need some balance. And Capricorn energy really is about balance between your pursuits from love, family, you know, and career ambitions type of things. So long-term goals that need your attention, the 9 of Swords in reverse. So you want to really avoid these panic attacks by healing beforehand, trying to stay a step ahead of it, especially as we come into retrograde at the end of January. So being able to know what you want and what you don't want, and then having kind of a plan for that is really a best case scenario. It might not necessarily be the perfect time to make a move at the moment, because I wouldn't recommend big projects right now, as I mentioned, but I would, you know, at least start researching and looking into some alternatives, okay? What needs to be cleansed at the moment in your life? King of Wands in reverse. So some kind of energy that's just kind of taking advantage of you. If you feel like there's just this kind of unyielding intolerance that you're not really down with, it's time to make a change when it comes to that. It could have to do with money, it could have to do with somebody in your life that's just kind of making you feel down about things constantly when you really don't need that. So it's time to kind of cleanse yourself from that and release and start kind of away from that, so that you can get a renewed sense of self that doesn't have anything to do with that energy. Something that you can detach from, Queen of Cups. So there might be an energy around you that is taking advantage of your emotions. Could be the same one we were just talking about. It could be somebody else. But in general, it's about an energy that is, it could be a bit codependent, and you might not be seeing it at the moment, but you want to be a little bit more aware of things, because there might be more than meets the eye when it comes to that. Okay, yeah, again, releasing sorts, releasing something before it becomes an issue, basically. All right, I'm kind of wondering if this is going to kind of expand as in the retrograde, because if it's not dealt with, then yeah, it's going to be something that just kind of blows up, unfortunately. But it's certainly not going to be a success if you don't find balance in whatever this is now, whether this is relationship or work. If there's something going on, let's be proactive about it. So what's the next best practical step to take while we're talking about that? King of Pentacles in the reverse and 8 of Swords in the reverse. So it seems like there's might be just some kind of something you're not quite seeing with regards to this. And the more you recognize what isn't real in the situation, because King of Pentacles in reverse is about somebody taking advantage here. There's corruption, there's some kind of demeaning situation or something that's not quite as it seems. Could be some selfish energy. The sooner you recognize it, the sooner you will find yourself in a new beginning of something that actually does have some solid meaning. Let me know if you want clarification on that personally, because that's pretty intense there, okay? So as we get into February energy here, we're getting into the new moon in Aqua. How can you expand on your vision? Ace of Cups. Well, I'm telling you, something to do with your relationship right now with somebody is not as it seems. And the faster you release yourself from that, the sooner you will find something that's bigger and better and makes a lot more sense and is right down the alley of really what you're wanting, okay? What benefit will Aquarius energy bring you? High Priestess in reverse. So really finding and understanding and seeing things for face value. And any instabilities or things that you might have kind of had a little red flag about, you're really going to get kind of a, here's what it really means here. The truth, it will come out, in other words. So Aquarian energy will bring that to the table and give you a clear understanding of what really needed to take place and where things really are in perspective of things, okay? How will the retrograde lessons affect you? Six of Cups. So you'll wind up kind of getting tapping back into that, you know, inner self and kind of recognizing maybe some emotional manipulation that was taking place. And there is something to gain because you learned something from the past as you apply it to the future. So the retrograde might have more to do with this emotional side of things than anything. How can you prep for retrograde here? Nine of Wands. So just, you know, being more in tune with who you are, being comfortable with, you know, the idea that you've got enough strength and stamina to get through whatever it is, being okay with the uncertainty and the unknown and just going for it no matter what, okay? If you are able to make that happen and be confident in that, then you really will come out of this feeling pretty good, okay? In what area do you need more balance? Knight of Cups, Two of Swords in the reverse. So having relationships and pursuing something that just doesn't have your best interest. There's a little bit of a track record here, if you will, of situations like this where maybe it seems like something but it's really not. But you're coming away from that energy where this person offers something but really it's just not quite what it seems, and you're learning how to use that skill and that judgment, that intuition to see between the lines and really what you need. And that's really what needs balance. If that's something that's happened right now and you've been dealing with that, that needs to be addressed and dealt with. There needs to be a change with this, something that has progression in a good direction that's for your best interest. And if it doesn't look like it's going that way, then cut it out. All right, love in general. Let's just take a look at how love in general is looking for you for February and March and kind of where it's headed, okay? So where it's at, where it's headed, Page of Pentacles in reverse. So you're kind of, you're reneging. You're bringing back your offers at the moment because what you've brought out hasn't been reciprocated. It's been a waste of time and energy. And where it's headed, the King of Swords, is some truth. You're going to lay down the law. You're going to lay down your truth about the situation. And it's going to be just kind of well laid out with, here's what you did that I don't like. Here's what I'm looking for. Either you're willing to, you know, we're each willing to do what we say we're going to do. Here's what we all can bring to the table. And we do it or we don't, you know, and we can rely on that or we can't. So that's kind of where you're at with things in general from what I can see. And as far as chakras go, life purpose in reverse. So you could be kind of pondering, questioning certain things this month, kind of be deep in thought about some of those deeper meanings and really what they mean to you and where they're going in life. So if you want to unblock that, if you want to see kind of where your personal chakras are, feel free to reach out. We'll take a look and go from there, all right? Otherwise, I wish you guys a really great couple of months, and I will see you guys in March, all right? Much love. We'll talk to you soon.